Thank you for watching Tech2's instructional video on the ESNA Tech version 7 UC Client Manager. This is video number 2. The first video talked about logging into the UC user panel and downloading the software and installing it on your PC. Now we're going to talk about configuring it and using your web client. Now that we've installed the software, we're going to click on our Start menu, go to All Programs, and choose UC Client Manager folder, and there's the UC Client Manager. This will not connect the first time that we open it up. It's going to need some additional information from us. You'll see when we log in here, it's going to have automatic sign-in. We're going to pop that down to manual sign-in with more options. So in our manual sign-in, we're going to go ahead and put in the server ID here. This server ID is the same IP address that you were given to log into your web client user and to download the software in the beginning. So go ahead and put that IP address in there. Leave the port number as is. We're going to also change this. Make sure you're at manual sign-in for your authentication. The company number is going to be 1. The mailbox is going to be the same as your extension. In this case, we're using 270 for our example. And then we're going to set our password. This password is the same password that you use when you log into your mailbox from your telephone to check your new messages. Make sure you check the box to save that password and then log in. You'll see now that you're going to ask for some location information. It's going to ask you for your area code. Go ahead and put that in there. If you need a carrier code, go ahead. Normally, most people do not. Dial a number for outside line access is usually 9, and then just keep that at tone and say OK. That automatically sets up your locations for you to allow outbound dialing. Here's your end user license agreement. Accept that agreement. And here we go. It opens up your UC client. From here, there's a lot more options than it looks like at first. You can see here with your drop-down arrow that you have lots and lots of options in here. What we're going to look at right now is the web client. When I click on the web client, it's going to open up whatever my browser is by default and log me into my personal web client. This is where additional configuration of your UC client occurs. Let it run any of the extensions it wants to run. Okay, here we go. You probably will be opening up to a wizard. We're going to skip the wizard for right now. We're going to look along the left-hand side. This is what we're going to be more concerned with right now. We want to look at the Find Me file. In the main settings here, when you open up the main settings, this is going to give you access to all the bits and pieces that you need to set your Find Me, Follow Me up. The first part of the Find Me, Follow Me, which is setting up your phone to call you in the way that works best for you, is the My Addresses portion of it. Any phone number where you might want to be reached needs to be able to be accessed from a drop-down list. And in order to be in that drop-down list, we first need to go to My Addresses and create the phone number in order for it to be available. So we come into My Addresses and you can see that we do have a couple of locations already made here. Now the 270 is your internal extension, and that's going to stay the same always. That's the default extension. That's the phone on your desk. Then we can add any other numbers that we might need to have here. So if I wanted to add an outside number, I'm going to click on the add and I choose, is this another extension inside the building or is it an external number? We're going to add an external number. Just put it in here with the area code. You do not have to do the 9. If it's long distance, you do have to put in the 1. 5871565. Do not set it as default. If you set this as default, then the phone on your desk will stop ringing and whatever number you put in here will start ringing. Okay, once we've saved that, you'll see it shows up now on our list of numbers. So that's setting up the addresses portion of it. So you would put all of the addresses in here that you could possibly want to be located at. The second part of this is setting up your greetings. When you go into My Greetings, you can see that you have some your personal greeting, your busy greeting, and your unavailable greeting that are already here. If you want to add a specific greeting for any of these locations, you can just click on Add a Greeting and it'll allow you to do so. Now, in order to choose your recording device, you do need to just pop down real quickly over to the General Settings, and then you're going to look at your playback and record devices. And this right now is going to be using the PC sound card and the microphone for the playback and recording. But you can have this be calling you at your desk phone if you wanted to. So if you put your phone in here, you can choose your phone and it'll allow you to choose which extensions that you have set up in your addresses do you want to be called at. Okay, if you wanted that to save those changes, you would just save it and close it. I'm going to leave it as it was. So we'll go back up to our main settings, and we're going to go to our greetings. If you wanted to add any additional greetings here, you can add location greetings with this tab. If you have specific greetings, you can record them, play them back here and listen to them. You can delete them from in here, and you can also create custom greetings. So if you have a greeting for somebody who calls in with a specific caller ID, you can leave them a greeting based upon their specific information. So that's where you are going to manage your addresses and your greetings. Then you're going to go to your locations. Now your locations: in office, at lunch, at home, meeting, away on vacation, on business, vacation, extended absence, and temporary location are all default locations. They're standard and they come when the system ships to you. In court, you can see this one is going to allow me to delete it. That's because it is a custom location that I built in order to meet my specific needs. So in your locations, if you want to change how a specific location works, you're going to just simply click on the location and it's going to bring up the different options as to what you can do here. Right now you can see that when I'm in office, the numbers assigned to this location are only my default address. My default address is my internal extension. Which greeting is it going to play? It's going to play the default greeting, which means that's my personal greeting. Availability filters: who am I available to when I'm sitting in when I'm in my in-office location? When I'm available to everybody, and when I'm unavailable, I am unavailable to all people. I can also assign my calls to a specific person. When I'm in office, I can assign my calls to a specific person within the company. Okay, so that's the in-office location. Now if I wanted to change a location, if I wanted to set myself away on business to call at an outside number, what I would do is come here. We can see it's already calling me my internal extension. I can move that out of here. And now it's just at my default address. So if I am away on business, I want to be called only at an external number. I select the number here, use my arrow over to pop it into my numbers assigned to this location. Now I'll be called here. If I add more than one number to a location, I get an additional Find Me Rules tab. That allows me to choose, do I want it to call me at both of these assigned to this location sequentially, or do I want them to call me at the same time? When I come back to my General tab and take away one of the external phone numbers, you see that tab disappears. So now I'm only going to be available at this phone number. Again, I can choose the greeting that I want callers to hear, whether I am available or not during this time, and then I can assign my calls to someone else. Once I have made this choice, now I am going to be available. I can choose to be unavailable. If I'm unavailable, it goes right to my voicemail box. But I'm available at my cell phone when I'm away on business. When I save that location, now you can see away on business is associated with the external telephone number. So that's setting up your Find Me, Follow Me. You can also set up, if you have a pretty rigid schedule and you know you're going to be doing the same things at the same times on a weekly basis, you can set up a calendar that automatically changes your locations for you using the calendar options. So that is your Find Me, Follow Me. In our next video, we'll be talking more about your general settings and other features. Thank you for listening.